Can you hear me over there? Okay, good. Awesome.
Is this on? I don't.
Hi, Ben. Hi.
This is not.
It's not on. We're having some mic issues.
Mic issue.
You can just talk in here. Say hi.
No. Hello?
No?
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
We got it. Tracy, you know I'm supposed
Speak
to be in
in my
office hours,
ear.
right?
I know. Hi.
Why am I up here?
Well, I'm talking.
Okay.
This is my emotional support animal. So you might be wondering about my outfit. I don't always dress up like a cow, but when I do, it's utterly amazing. That's Pete and Ben dancing. It's pretty good, right? I think so. Please meet Ben Lush. You can find them on the internet. Please
Hello.
also meet So Ben Lush. So you can also follow So Ben Lush on the internet.
Yay.
Ben's
I was really
excited.
hoping this would come out.
Ben was hoping. Is there a pun there? Like, it's really appealing for me to be up here with you, Tracy.
I'm feeling a little yellow.
Banana wearing a costume lately. Ben just said he's feeling a little yellow, if you guys didn't catch that. So anyways, while Ben gets dressed, it's warm-up time. So can I have everybody stand up really quickly? Stand up. It'll be okay, I promise. I don't bite. I moo a little bit sometimes. Yeah, so raise your hands if you guys know Kent Chimichanga Dodds. Anybody know Kent Chimichanga Dodds? Oh, that's really sad. Well, he can't see Dodds. No? Okay. Angular air. Raise your hands. Okay, a few people. All right. So anyways, that's warm-up time. What he does is he has people do squats to warm up, but we're going to do something a little bit different. And because we can't play the peanut butter jelly song, I have my karaoke machine right here. So as Ben sings us the peanut butter jelly song, I just want us to like jump up and down and get excited about the talk. You know, we've been eating a lot of sugar here at this conference. And, you know, I'll be dancing too, okay? Are you guys ready? Ben, we're ready whenever you are.
Please dance. It could be worse. You could be me right now.
It's so good. All right.
All right, so I'm going to go.
You're my karaoke machine.
All right, if we get some clapping too, that would probably help. But not applause, but that's fine. All right. Because it's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Now where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly and a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
All right. Although.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
I gotta go.
Encore. Ben actually has to go to office hours now. So, okay, the real reason you guys are here is to learn about the internet. So let's get started with that. Thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Literally, hashtag SoBenLesh, and this thing will retweet you. It's great. So social media, it's the lingua franca of the tech industry, right? You guys are here to learn how to be legendary. So my name's Tracy. You can follow me on the internet at Lady Leap. You can also find me on GitHub, or I do this thing called Modern Web, so modern-web.org. And I also blog about Angular too on my Medium, so that's exciting. And I get to do cool things like this, like make my friends dress up in outfits and talk about tech on a podcast. That's awesome, really great content there. And I get to dream up exciting things like NG Cruise. So NG Cruise is setting sail May 29th. It's pretty exciting. So now that you guys know a little bit about me, I'm in the mood to get to know you guys a little bit better. So just a raise of hands, how many of you guys are developers? Raise of hands, basically most of the entire room. How many of you are business people? You can be a business person and a developer. So like 5% of the room or so. Okay, very cool. Well, regardless of who you are, we're all here because we're utterly excited about Angular, right? But we're not just moved by the technology. We're also moved by the people, right? And being at a conference, you're probably here because it's probably part of your job. And you probably want to be successful at your job and at life. I know I do. And being successful, I think, in any type of situation like this is about being able to develop a regular dialogue with people you work with, right? And build real awesome relationships. So how can you improve what you do and how you do it? So this matters for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a developer advocate, a consultant, a startup founder, whether you're in sales and marketing, if you're a recruiter, right? You're more effective if you know how to communicate with the people you work with. So let me go ahead and pour some knowledge on you about lingua franca of tech, social media. So first off, you guys must understand that obviously JavaScript land is kind of a hilarious place, right? I made this Banana.js site because I realized I have enough people in banana outfits to make a Banana.js site. So I demoed this at London.js recently. The JavaScript industry is also very genuine and very honest. There's great conversations happening online right now about our technology, about Angular 2, and really cool things starting to happen. Our community is built on meaningful, strong relationships with people doing really, really cool things. But that is all enabled by one thing. Did you guys know? It's enabled by social media, right? So the real question is, are you guys actually participating? And I hope you are. So there's a lot of social media out there. You have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, et cetera. But we're going to focus on two things today, which are Twitter and GitHub, because those are the things that are most relevant to us. And take a use case like Angular Connect, since we're all here and excited. So there's a lot of amazing people here, obviously, and people you probably want to meet, right? But who is everybody? How do you meet them? How do you get them to actually talk to you, right? How many people can you individually meet at this conference? I know that I Snapchatted with everybody at a recent conference, and I think I met 100 people in one day, and I think that's a lot for most people, right? So it's really hard to meet every single person individually. And look at these antisocial scared babes. Do you see their faces? I mean, some people don't want to be talked to. So how many meaningful relationships can you actually build in a short amount of time? So here's a little secret for you guys. All of these people are on the internet. Isn't that amazing? And you ask yourself, what does that actually mean, right? Well, this is why I want to talk about the tech Lingua Franca playbook, as I call it, right? So there's a few things. Number one is it's about finding people, right? I said that these people are here. It's about listening and figuring out who these people are, how to be a useful human being, how this actually benefits you, and then how to actually get started. So let's go ahead and get started with finding people. How do I find all these people on the internet? Well, I found 49 of the 54 speakers for Angular Connect on Twitter. So I made a list. You guys can actually go to my Twitter and look at that list if you care for connecting with the speakers. And that's more people than you'd meet just sitting here, right? I also found 214 people talking about Angular Connect. That didn't actually take me very long. It probably took me about 8 hours to do that. And if I had tried, I probably would have found 500 or 600. If you look on GitHub, there's 328 contributors on Angular and 65 members, right? These are all people that you probably care about, right, and that you want to know. There's obviously familiar faces like Jeff Cross's Beard, Mishko, Rob, Hans, who does Angular CLI. You have Victor, who wrote the router, or even Jake Herringbone, aka Alex Eagle. But there's also unfamiliar faces, and the unfamiliar faces are just as important. The reason I say this, right, is because we're excited about speakers and meeting speakers and those types of things, but don't discount people. Get to know them, right? Those people that you think aren't, who are you, are probably some of the most important people that you'll actually meet. It's really about being inclusive. You'll actually surprise yourself, and I think other people will actually surprise you too. After you figure out how to find all the people, then it's just about listening, right? It's kind of like starting your new day at school, at a new school. Who do you talk to? What groups do you want to be a part of? So listening is really important first before you start interacting. You need to listen first to understand the landscape. So on Twitter, you can look at, let's say, a list that you created maybe, or on GitHub, if you're following a bunch of different people or different repositories, then just looking to see how people communicate. Understanding the interactions and behavior between people is really important. And see where you might be useful, right? So on Twitter, I just looked at my Twitter feed really quickly, and I see that there is, somebody said, it's too bad this PR has languished for so long because I think this would resolve this problem, right? I could probably go look at that PR and maybe revive it. That'd be kind of cool. Or there's somebody who needs help on Stack Overflow for Angular and Jasmine. So I could probably look at that Stack Overflow question and see if I can provide any value there. Or even my friend Jamie, he needs help with Ember Sandbox. So how do I contribute to that? Same thing on GitHub. I can go look at the different repositories on GitHub, and I can, this is the RxJS one. And for those of you who are more technical in the room, You guys can probably do like way more amazing things than me on GitHub, but I could do things like update a README file, right? Or this non-expected behavior in tutorial example. Like I could probably help with something like that. And as you're listening and figuring out who these people are and why they're on the internet and how they interact, it's really important to sort of understand what's appropriate behavior and what's not. And I think the what's not appropriate behavior is probably the most important thing. After you're done listening, then it's time to actually be a useful human being, right? And this is actually probably the most important part of being on social media and interacting in our community. So chiming in and helping where you can is really important, but also make sure that you're useful when you do it. So examples of being a useful human being, Getify had a question, or he was complaining. He said, it's become exhausting to manage issues on YDKJS repo. People file without searching first. So these two people, Yuho and Sean, just gave some suggestions, right? And regardless of whether Getify decides to use these suggestions or not, he felt like there was a community behind him that's helping him, right? These people were trying to be useful. So another guy in the React community, he's here in London, he said, Michael Jackson, you helped me out with my burnout, together with Dan Abramov and Ryan Florence, and taught me OSS. Thank you. That's kind of cool, right? Michael, Dan, and Ryan randomly helped somebody out, and this guy is so thankful, and it's mainly just because they were just trying to be useful human beings. That's awesome. Another person that I follow, I don't know if she's a developer or not, but she said, she probably is, missgeeky.com. In case you missed it yesterday, I wrote an article on different things that help me with conference speaking. So even if you're not a technical person, right, you can write and produce content for the web that helps the people around you, like how to speak at conferences. Other great examples of being useful human beings. So this is great. Oh, this is my favorite, Todd. What does he say? Good news, I lost 16 pounds in 7 weeks. So this guy, Jack, said, that's awesome, but really this guy, Jack, was being useful at one point in time and helped Todd with some weight loss tips. So that's amazing, right? This person is useful. Kent tweeted out that he has a friend looking for a job in the LA area, and Josh said, oh, hey, GitHub is hiring. That's really cool. Even on GitHub, so I submitted a PR to RxJS where I just added like spaces in between the curly braces, and Jay said, hey, you missed one. Like, it's okay, Tracy, but you should probably think about all of them if you're going to change one. So this led to an issue, and then me changing all the spaces in between the curly braces. But Jay was really useful. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for being awesome. Same thing, there's this guy, and he was having some issues on an Ember repo, and this guy, Bonici, was just being a nice person and being helpful, right? You guys can all do that. I think everybody here has enough knowledge, however little that you guys think you do, to be helpful on the internet. Same thing, this is a good example, actually. So Steph, Robert, and Chris are all on the Ember core team, and this one guy, he says, I don't know enough of the code base of Ember to really comment about this, but what about using object.create? You can tell, like if you haven't contributed to OSS or commented on issues or anything like that, you can tell that this guy is really unsure about doing this and kind of shy, but he does it anyways. And I guarantee you that as he develops as a developer, the guys, let's say he wants to contribute to Ember, are going to remember this and be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He was cool, and be more helpful later on. So those are ways you can be useful, right? Help people solve their problems. Just be a nice person on the internet, and contribute your strengths to the ecosystem. You don't have to be a super hardcore technical developer to actually be useful, right? Opposite of useful, like I said, is probably one of the more important things. I think we all see a lot of traumatizing things on the internet, at least I do. Like this one guy, Brandon, he said something about something being clueless. It probably was unnecessary, right? We all get frustrated, but I think when you think about people, or if you're going to interact with people, like if you're not going to say it to their face, you probably shouldn't say it on the internet. So it got Ryan a little bit upset, and that didn't really do anything for anybody, right? Same thing, like this guy, Steven, got a little bit mad about CouchDB, and it's an open source book, and it's 7 years old. Like this could have been better if people had just treated each other a little bit nicer, or said, oh, I'm so sorry, or thank you, or hey, how can I help, instead of this sucks, right? Here's another little traumatizing experience where I think everything just devolves. I feel like this is a very common thing, like things just devolve sometimes on the internet. And those are ways, again, that you shouldn't do those things. Even on GitHub repos, I'm sure like if you're a developer, you've seen this, but people just commenting on things and not understanding context maybe, or not being useful in a productive way, right? It's much more useful if we try to, again, be useful people versus be mean. So you might be thinking, being useful human being sounds like a lot of work, and it is, right? But it's important, and I think the most important thing is this actually benefits you in the future. So I'll give you some examples of why, because I think, again, why do you spend an extra 8 hours a week or 20, 30, 40 hours a week doing these things? It's because it helps you in your career. It helps you as a person. It helps you develop as a person. So I was talking to Jay on the internet, and if you ever meet Jay Phelps, it's really easy to snipe him. So you just start talking about something technical and say something wrong, and he'll sit there and have a half-hour conversation with you. It's great. But I asked him about being on Twitter, and he said, with devs, he's on Twitter with developers that he's likely to interact with on GitHub. And he says when somebody recognizes you and knows you from various tweets or discussions, subconsciously, they're more likely to be willing to listen to your arguments, right? So that's awesome. And I'll give you an example. So Jay decided one day that like in the Ember code base, there's single quotes and double quotes, and he decided everything should be single quotes. So he submitted a huge PR to change all the double quotes to single quotes. And like that sounds crazy, right? Why would anybody merge that? But because he was a part of the community and he's been a part of the open source community, it actually got merged in. So silly. We're more likely to work with people we trust and that have helped us in the past, right? I know I am. So this is actually Ben Lush's story. So he said about 4 years ago, he needed to learn more Angular 2, right? And there wasn't a lot of documentation. So what he started doing was reading the source code, answering questions on Stack Overflow, and actually, submitting PRs into Angular 1, right? And because of that, Netflix flew him out, interviewed him, and then all of a sudden, he's writing RxJS 5, he's speaking at conferences, and it really changed his career trajectory, right? It's pretty awesome. So contributing to OSS can actually help you land jobs and change your career trajectory. I went to NGConf in April, and I contacted Aaron, and I said, Aaron, I want to do something at NGConf. What can I do? And he said, I'd only met Aaron once, and he said, just come and enjoy the conference. And I said, okay, I'll just come and enjoy the conference. And he sent me an email after. He said, I wanted to drop you a quick thanks for all that you do to make the NGConf a better event. Every time I turned around, you were there making the event fun for all around you. And that was awesome. Like, I wasn't actually trying to do anything. I was just being my normal, happy self, playing around, hanging out with friends. But because I was doing that, right, it benefited me somehow, right? Because Aaron was happy. So being positive and contributing makes people want to play with you. Same thing with Kent Chimichanga Dodds. He has only been a developer for 4 years, but in the Angular community, especially in the US, a lot of people know him through Angular Air and JavaScript Air. And he's well known not because he's super technical, but because of the things that he actually contributes back to the community. So again, being positive and contributing makes people want to play with you, which is great. Another story is Caitlin Potter. Do you guys know Caitlin Potter? So Ben was telling me a story about Caitlin, and apparently she had over 40 open PRs on Angular, and then the Angular team decided to hire her as a contractor, right? And what does Ben say? He says, I'm probably way off on my specifics about Caitlin, but the legend is real. Everyone that knows her speaks of her with reverence. Kind of amazing, right? Just because she wanted to start contributing, she was able to start contracting with the Angular team. So be a badass like Caitlin Potter. That's the lesson for that one. So we sort of talked through a few things, right? How to find people. I showed you how easy it is. I even made a list for you on the internet. How to listen, make sure you understand what's going on before you start communicating. How to actually be a useful human being, and then how it actually benefits you and how it's benefited many people in the industry. So getting started is really easy. Just start, right? Don't think about it too much. Just Get on there, get started. Find cool people related to things you care about. Get to know them by listening. Be a useful human being by conversing with them on Twitter, helping them on GitHub. And that is basically it. So in summary, social media really is the language of our entire ecosystem. I mean, if you imagine all the things that actually happen because they're broadcasted on Twitter, because there's GitHub, the collaboration, the new people that come into the community because there's a way for them to be able to do so, right? There's a way for people to randomly just start communicating. It's kind of amazing. Social media is where software is created and debated. It's where companies are formed, right? But also remember that don't take yourself too seriously. Remember that you're a human, and remember that we're all humans. And we should all be nice to each other. It's not that hard, right? Laugh a little bit, have some fun. And again, you can find me on the internet if you want to chat more. And that's it.